Welcome to Transformers Masterpiece Theater, everybody. I'm the Rusty Mechanic. Today we're in Rusty's maintenance terminal. We're going to show you today how to transplant one of the hands from burden here onto concrete. The reason why I'm doing this today is because on the concrete figure that I have, the very first time that I ever transformed him, I actually went to rotate his hand into his forearm as part of the transformation, but I didn't notice that his thumb was sticking out. When I rotated the hand to flip it inside the forearm, the thumb caught on the inside of his flap, and the thumb actually snapped off. It actually broke a piece of the hand as well, so I couldn't just snap the thumb back into place, and the thumb went and took off that way somewhere, and I never saw it again. So interestingly enough, when I was looking at the Constructicons, I noticed that all of their hands are exactly the same. So I managed to pick up this copy of Burden from another collector. I do already have all 6. So this is an extra copy of Burden that I have. So I'm just going to show you how to take the hand off of Burden, put it on the concrete here, and we'll have a fully functioning concrete once again. So first thing I like to do with concrete is he has this tendency of these missiles, as you may or may not know, they actually fire by pushing this button that's here on the side. And anytime that I'm handling him, I'm constantly touching that button. It's very sensitive, so it does flick the missiles off very easily. So even when I'm transforming, I always like to take these out. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the missiles out. We'll just put them off to the side here. And let's just put concrete over here for now. Actually, what I will do is I'll show you what I did do with the thumb just so that you can see it. So as you can see, there's no thumb here, right? I have the fingers, but no thumb. And like I said, I just happened to break it off as part of the transformation. All right, so let's put concrete over here out of the way. All right, so let's get started on burden. So all you'll need is, you'll need a flathead screwdriver. Flathead screwdriver is for, you actually have to pop the hand out of the base of the wrist that's inside the forearm. I use a flathead screwdriver. They are in there pretty tight, so you do need something that's pretty sturdy that can pop them out. I'll show you how to do it in a second. Second thing you'll need is just a small Phillips screwdriver. I've got this really nice jeweler's screwdriver kit that has all the different bits. So I'll be using this and a Phillips head number 1 to get the screws out of the forearms on both figures. So what we'll do is, starting with burden, is you just want to rotate the forearm out so you can see the screws that are there. So there's 1, 2, 3 screws that we're going to take out. I'll start with this one. Number 2 and number 3. Nice and simple. And then the 2 halves of the forearm just lift out of the elbow space, basically. All right, let's get burden out of the way there. And the hand is just sitting in on a peg, just to make it easier. I normally just open this flap just to get the hand out. So as you can see, it's just sitting on, it just sits on a peg. Now, it's a little easier to see on concrete because he's gray and black with his hand, but what you'll see is it's a flat peg base that's inside this piece here. And it does just slide out through this this groove here. So what we're going to do is just take the flathead screwdriver and put it in here, and gentle pressure, and it will just pop right out of this base. We'll be able to slide it out of the back here. So I'll show you how to do that. So nice and simple. Like I said, we're just taking a flathead screwdriver here, and gentle pressure, and it'll pop. And then you just wiggle it out like that. So there's the base. So let's take all the burden stuff and we'll just put them out of the way there. So now you've got fully functioning hand with a thumb, and we're just going to go ahead and transplant that into concrete. So let's put that over here for now. So let's do the same thing to concrete, exact same thing. rotate the forearm so you can see the 3 screws. With concrete, you do just want to move his arm out of the way so it's not touching his wheels on the back, because when you try to drop the forearm in the back there, the wheels do get in the way. So we'll take our Phillips head screwdriver again, and same idea, 3 screws. I did actually find it interesting when I was thinking about doing this and I was examining all of the Constructicons. ToyWorld did, obviously, I mean, for cost-effective purposes, I'm sure, a lot of the mechanisms in that, as I said, the hands are identical, but a lot of the mechanisms are the same too. So even the ratchet joint here is actually a similar design, right? To, as you can see, they're both very similar to each other. Like I said, cost-effective, makes sense for ToyWorld to do that, right? To repurpose their engineering and designs to just move them around between the figures. So as you saw when you're taking the forearm off, right, this spring is loose, so you don't want to lose the spring. It's part of the ratchet effect for the elbow, so make sure you keep an eye on that. Same thing with concrete. You just want to open up the bottom flap here. That's part of the transformation, just to wiggle the wrist or the base of the hand out. So again, right, same idea. Right, we're just going to put our flathead screwdriver in here. Gentle pressure will cause it to pop out the back here, and we'll slide it out. Just a closer look on, like I said, what happened. As you can see, there's no thumb there at all, and it was this piece. It's a very small piece of plastic that's right in here that snapped off, which is why I couldn't put the thumb back in there anymore. So as anybody that has these knows, like these figures, the fingers and the thumb, the joints in that are kind of fragile. We got to be pretty gentle with them. So anyway, so let's go ahead and pop that guy out. Other side. Now I found with concrete, his is a lot tighter than burden, so a little more pressure is required here. There we go. To get him out. But same idea, wiggle them out, so there we go. And we'll put that over here with burden and put that back together later. Here's the good hand with the working thumb. So when I'm putting it back together, I do actually like to just open the fingers up. That way I'm not putting any pressure on the thumb or the fingers as I'm putting this back together, just sort of flatten everything out. So just want to wiggle it in until you feel some resistance, and then again take your flathead screwdriver again. Same idea, you're going to put it in here, nice gentle pressure, and it will pop back into place. As you can hear from that sound, like I said, concrete's is a lot tighter than burden's was. So we'll just put all the joints back in their proper fist position there, close everything up. And then when you're putting the base back together, there is actually a right way and a wrong way to put this in. So you'll notice on concretes here that there's an open groove here there's an open groove here on this side. So when you're putting the wrist base back into the peg hole, right, when you're putting it back in here, he does have a tab that's on the bottom of his wrist plate here, so it does go into that spot there. So if you have it the other way, if you put it in, I'll actually show you. If you put it in the wrong way, like this, right, then there isn't anywhere for this plate, right, this tab to go into, right? So you've got the wrist on backwards. So then just pop it off and flip it over, and we'll put it back in, right? So now you've got a space for this tab to go into. So it fits like that. So there is a right way and a wrong way for his wrist to go on. So once you do have it back on, then we'll take concrete, we'll bring him back over. And similar tip here. So on the inside of the forearm, you'll actually notice that at the bottom of the spring there's a gray ring, and there's actually a tab on either side of the gray ring. And this does actually line up with concrete's elbow right here, you'll see there's an open tab right there. So those tabs do have to fit into that space. So just make sure that those are lined up when you are putting this back together. That's pretty close. There we go. And then you're going to take the top half of his forearm and drop it into place. And you can pinch everything together. You want to pinch it together to make sure you're putting some pressure on that spring as you're putting everything back together. Make sure it's nice and tight. And you can actually check the ratcheting, right? Once you have that first screw in, to make sure that it is working before you put everything else back together. And just put all these screws back in. Again, just check everything out. Perfect. Again, his wrist is really tight. I don't know why. I find that Concrete's wrists are a lot tighter than a lot of the other Constructicons from ToyWorld. And I'll just make sure that this rotates in okay. Yep, perfect. Now I gotta get it back up. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Everything working nicely. Nice, easy fix, nothing too difficult. Get a fully functioning and working concrete back into the lineup. So that's it, guys. Nice and easy fix. Just a few screws and a bit of pressure from your trusty flathead screwdriver. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave some comments down below. I'm always interested to hear your feedback anytime that I'm doing any of these types of videos, be it this one or my 3-minute transformation videos or my reviews. And please, by all means, if you do like this video, please hit that like button down below. It helps out a lot. Be sure to subscribe to my channel as well, so that you get notified every time that I do post up a new video. I try to get them out as quick as I can. And thanks a lot. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this one. This is the Rusty Mechanic, Transformers Master Use Theater, and we're inside the maintenance terminal.